Hello, friends. This week's devotion is titled Private Selection. In mid-November, when I asked Holy Spirit to reveal what was on his heart to share, I saw, Trust God for private selection. As I began to seek him more and dig into this encouraging message, this is what I believe he would like for us to know. His key verse is Ephesians 1, verse 11, which says, Through our union with Christ, we too have been claimed by God as his own inheritance. Before we were even born, he gave us our destiny, that we would fulfill the plan of God, who always accomplishes every purpose and plan in his heart. So we have been privately selected, hand-picked, carefully chosen, especially gifted, and anointed to fulfill God's callings and specific assignments with him. 1 Peter 2 verse 9 reminds us of his identity and purpose for us, which is that we are God's chosen treasure, priests who are kings, a spiritual nation set apart as God's devoted ones. He called you out of darkness to experience his marvelous light, and now he claims you as his very own. He did this so that you would broadcast his glorious wonders throughout the world. Therefore, we are to see and believe in ourselves as God does, and what he has put in us to accomplish, empowered by his grace. We are to trust him in this and choose him and his way for the entire race. In regards to private selection, according to Strong's Concordance, the word private means something just for you, something uniquely one's own that is due. It can even refer to a home or a business. The word selection means to look upon, to inspect, to examine, to choose, to employ, and to provide. Just as God has chosen us and aligned us privately in the secret place, he will bring forth the outward blessings, beginning with us as individuals, having been made a greater blessing to others. God will even reveal to us others who are full of his Spirit and wisdom and are fit to handle responsibilities forward as builders. Therefore, we are to go forth by faith in what God has chosen, including faith in ourselves as individuals, the unique path onto which he has called us, and his choice of those who will accompany us. We must realize that what God carried us through previously, he will carry on through us to do good works as we finish our course with him. Therefore, we must have faith for God's entire plan. We must also come into the awareness that what God enables us to do does not originate with us, but with him, who works in parallels and cycles that are bigger than we know. Therefore, there is a level of respect and honor due to our King as we fulfill his purpose with him. We must realize that God gives us his power of authority as we submit to him in his ways and as we respect others along the way. We must understand that regardless of circumstance, God's true authority will ultimately prevail. Our biblical example of this joyous reward is that of Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth, in regards to being chosen by King David to sit and eat at his table as a son. God worked on Mephibosheth's behalf privately, even before David received his coronation or table. Even though Mephibosheth was Saul's grandson, he was still privately selected. His selection was sealed in David's heart when he made a private covenant with Jonathan. As king, David looked upon Mephibosheth and sought him out to join him in his abundance as family, even though for a time envious Saul kept David from his family. David's official invitation was just for Mephibosheth, a kind of lone prodigal by default, who had been carried through so much. It was time to officially feast at the king's table, to celebrate oneness. This is an example of a manifest expression of God's strength of kindness, and of Mephibosheth as an example of Isaiah 60 verse 3, which says, "Nations will be attracted to your radiant light, and kings to the sunrise glory of your new day." Friends, we feast at our King's table as we align with him by invitation. Just as God had a new day for Mephibosheth, he has a new table story for each of us, one that is a perfect fit put into place by God, one to lift our status officially, one in which God will demonstrate his strength of kindness to us uniquely. With old enemies held accountable and behind us now, he will place us in our seats alongside him as he restores honor in families and in the land of our forefathers. God will demonstrate his oneness, especially for those who have felt held back, less than, and forgotten. As kings and priests, he will extend us favor and expect us to extend it to others. Therefore, expect God's manifest best. Put your faith fully in his promises. Our costly seats are already reserved. It's time to sit and sup with him as family in a grand new way and place to us. It's time to live a beautiful and satisfying life. So be entwined as one with the Lord. Be brave and courageous. God has destined you to become a beacon light for the nations and release salvation to the ends of the earth. To God be all glory, honor, and praise.